the happy world of 5FM Radio, your adult contemporary radio station in Zambia, connecting you to the newsmakers and events that make news in the global village.
And now, with the main news bulletin, this is Cecilia Treasure.
Good afternoon. The headlines. Zambian Civil Liberties Union raises alarm over potential constitutional breaches within National Assembly of Zambia. Frank Walia sheds light on a ZCCB pastoral statement. Kenya and Sudan seek to expedite slow Jeddah talks. News in detail. The Zambia Civil Liberties Union says the recent release of an official list of office bearers by the Registrar of Societies has raised serious concerns about potential constitutional breaches within the National Assembly of Zambia, specifically related to changes made in the leadership of the opposition by Speaker Nelly Muti. Union Executive Director Isaac Mwanza says it is incumbent upon Ms. Muti to acknowledge the significance of the situation and consider whether her decisions were made hastily or under the influence of information, potentially resulting in actions that contravene the Constitution. Mr. Mwanza says in the interest of legal clarity and adherence to constitutional principles, the organization is advising the Speaker to prioritize her long-standing professional standing as a legal practitioner, which earned her respect of the public over short-term political considerations. He has recommended that the Speaker takes the appropriate legal steps to rectify any potential errors rather than allowing the situation to escalate. Mr. Mwanza has also urged Mrs. Muti to demonstrate magnanimity by promptly reversing any decisions made in error. He notes that waiting for the creation of a new list of office bearers, which may be perceived as an attempt to conceal any shortcomings, is not in the best interest of upholding legal and constitutional standards.
We urge Mrs. Muti to demonstrate magnanimity by promptly reversing any decisions made in error. Waiting for the creation of a new list of office bearers at the Registrar of Societies, which may be perceived as an attempt to conceal any shortcomings, is not in the best interest of upholding legal and constitutional standards. It is crucial that Madam Nelly Muti acknowledges the legal proceedings currently underway in different courts concerning the leadership of the main opposition party. As a respected legal practitioner, she should actively respect and uphold the integrity of the court process.
Former High Commissioner to Australia, Frank Walia, has noted that some stakeholders in the country's political landscape are dismissing the recent Zambia Conference of Catholic Bishops' pastoral letter, which suggested that the democratic space is shrinking without addressing the substantive issues raised by the bishops. Mr. Walia, who has singled out the police not allowing the opposition to hold rallies, notes that the statement by the bishops is well grounded in that it has been anchored on specific issues. Speaking when he featured on the Burning Issue program on 5FM radio this morning, Mr. Walia says the issues raised by the bishops are true, regardless of whether the government has a justification or not. He has further explained that this is not the first time the Catholic bishops have issued a pastoral letter, recalling that they have issued similar statements during the previous regime. Mr. Walia has encouraged government to heed the church's counsel and work on their shortcomings.
This issue of shrinking democratic space is not being mentioned by the bishops alone. Even other stakeholders, including NGOs, I want to believe that if we were privy to what the embassies, the high commissions in Zambia are writing to their countries, it's very, very likely that those who are concerned with democracy, who are concerned with good governance, are including this. So what I want to believe is that the government needs to continue in a magnanimous manner, as the chief government spokesperson has already demonstrated, to listen. Listening is not agreeing.
Meanwhile, Mr. Walia has advised the UPND leadership to engage the Catholic bishops over the recent statement by Party Secretary General Batuke Menda, in which he labeled the Lusaka Archbishop Alik Banda as the Lucifer of Zambia.
On the issue of Lucifer and so on, I want to believe that the UPND senior leaders will see the need to engage the Catholic Church. It may be privately, it may be publicly, to see that that issue is resolved so that the relationship is not strained by such unnecessary instances.
Police in Sinda have launched a manhunt for a teacher identified as Peter Mwanza of Masulwe Primary School following allegations that the suspect did defile a grade 7 pupil aged 13. Police investigations have so far revealed that the victim is carrying a 7-week pregnancy. The matter was reported to Sinda police yesterday at 12:48 hours by the uncle to the victim. In another development, police in Lusaka have apprehended Africa Nanjaya Jr., aged 35, of Chawama compound in John Lane, Chawama compound, for the offenses of identity-related crimes. This is contrary to the Cybersecurity and Cybercrimes Act and obtaining money by false pretense, contrary to the Penal Code Act Chapter 87 of the laws of Zambia. Police spokesperson Ray Hamonga has confirmed the two incidents to 5FM News.
Investigations so far have revealed that the victim is carrying a 7-week pregnancy. The matter was reported to Sinda Police yesterday, the 13th of November, around 12:58 hours by the uncle to the victim. The offense is alleged to have been committed between July 2023 and October 2023. The suspect is on the run. In another development, police in Osaka have apprehended Africa Nanjaya Jr., age 35, of Chawama compound in John Lane compound for the offenses of identity-related crimes contrary to Section 54 of the Cybersecurity and Cybercrimes Act and obtaining money by false pretense contrary to Section 309 of the Penal Code Act Chapter 87 of the laws of Zambia.
Government says Zambia is making curriculum reforms in light of transforming education summit's call for action to accelerate national and global efforts. Permanent Secretary in charge of Educational Services, Joel Kamoko, says this is aimed at achieving the Sustainable Development Goal number 4 of ensuring inclusive and equitable quality education and promoting lifelong learning opportunities for all. Mr. Kamoko called for support and collaborative linkages in digital transformation in education as the country finalizes the ICT policy, which is pivotal in establishing resilient delivery systems for quality teaching and learning in the face of global challenges like the COVID-19 pandemic. The Permanent Secretary has also reaffirmed government's commitment in the work of UNESCO to transform lives and drive sustainable development. Mr. Kamoko made the remarks when he delivered the national policy statement on the 42nd session of the General Conference of UNESCO, taking place at the organization's headquarters in Paris, France. Meanwhile, the Permanent Secretary requested for international assistance in positioning the Kafue Flats Biosphere Reserve as a regional hub in accordance with the Sustainable Development Goal of building sustainable cities and communities. This is contained in a statement issued by Naomi Mwamba, the first Secretary for Press at the Zambian Embassy in Paris, France. In other stories trending this afternoon, Opposition Golden Party of Zambia leader Jackson Silavwe has condemned what he feels is a blatant intimidation allegedly directed at Tandiwe Mende, the Chief Registrar of Societies. And Chinese ambassador to Zambia, Du Xiaohou, has advised Zambia to capitalize on the growing demand for copper on the international market to maximize economic benefits. Stay tuned for business news.
5FM Radio Business News. We mean business. Keep you current in commerce, trade, and industry, local and global. It's our business to keep you informed about business.
The Lusaka City Council has warned all those trading using wheelbarrows in the Central Business District to desist from doing so, failure to which the council will move in and seize their merchandise. Council Public Relations Officer Wupe Kabuswe pointed out that the local authority has observed with concern the rise in the number of people selling their merchandise and food items using wheelbarrows in the CBD. Ms. Kabuswe says selling of any merchandise, including food items on wheelbarrows, is prohibited as it contravenes Regulation 45 of a Statutory Instrument number 12 of 2008 of the Local Government Act number 2 of the laws of Zambia.
This has become a source of concern for the local authority as the trend among residents is worrying and it has continued to contravene the public health guidelines. The council only permits people with approved standing buildings and certified licenses to trade within the CBD. People selling food, among other items, from wheelbarrows do not meet the public health conditions and guidelines.
Meanwhile, Ms. Kabuswe has revealed that the council has apprehended 697 street vendors for conducting business in non-designated places following inspections conducted between 17th July and 9th November.
The council has apprehended 697 street vendors for conducting businesses in undesignated places. This follows an inspection that was conducted between 17th July 2023 and 9th November 2023. Residents are further urged to always engage the local authority and apply for available trading slots in markets to avoid facing consequences coming from street vending.
In foreign news, Sudan's military ruler, Lieutenant General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, has met Kenya President William Ruto in Nairobi after initially rejecting the latter as the lead mediator in a war in the Northeast African country. The Kenya presidency website said yesterday that the two leaders held bilateral talks on the recent security situation in Sudan and the region. They also reviewed the state of ongoing peace initiatives, including the Jeddah and the Intergovernmental Authority on Development peace processes. Talks between the Sudanese army and rivals from the Rapid Support Forces resumed in the Saudi port city on 26th October, but mediators, including the US, Saudi Arabia, IGAD, and African Union, failed to compel both sides to uphold a ceasefire. And in sports news this afternoon, Africans qualifying for the 2026 FIFA World Cup begins tomorrow, 15th November, with the continent set to send a record number of nations to football's newly expanded global showpiece. Only 5 countries were present at the 2022 finals in Qatar, where Morocco made history by becoming the first African side to reach the semi-finals. However, 9 African sides are guaranteed a spot at the next edition in Canada, Mexico, and United States, a tournament that will feature 48 teams up from 32. There is even the chance for a 10th to qualify via an intercontinental playoff. Stand by for the afternoon weather update brought to you by Classicon.
Class Econ Roofing Africa. Class Econ Roofing, plot 17100 off Katanga Road, 150 meters from Mumbwa Road, Chinika Industrial Area, Lusaka. Class Econ Roofing. Class plus economy. Class Econ. Class Econ Roofing Africa. Class Econ.
Muchinga, Northern and Wapula provinces, including the northern parts of Northwestern, Copperbelt and Eastern provinces, are mainly cloudy, slightly windy and warm to hot with thunder showers. Maximum temperature is in the range of 23 to 35 degrees Celsius. Western, Southern and Lusaka provinces, including southern parts of Northwestern, Copperbelt and Eastern provinces, are partly cloudy, slightly windy and hot to very hot with a chance of isolated showers. Ends the afternoon weather update.
Class Econ. Class Econ Roofing Africa. Class Econ Roofing, plot 17100 off Katanga Road, 150 meters from Mumbwa Road, Chinika Industrial Area, Lusaka. Class Econ Roofing. Class plus economy. Class Econ. Class Econ Roofing Africa. Class Econ.
On that note, we come to the end of the main news. But before we go, let's take another look at the top stories. The Zambian Civil Liberties Union says the recent release of an official list of office bearers by the Registrar of Societies has raised serious concerns about potential constitutional breaches within the National Assembly of Zambia, specifically related to changes made in the leadership of the opposition by Speaker Nelly Muti. Former High Commissioner to Australia, Frank Walia, has noted that some stakeholders in the country's political landscape are dismissing the recent Zambia Conference of Catholic Bishops pastoral letter, which suggested that the democratic space is shrinking without addressing the substantive issues raised by the bishops. And Sudan's military ruler, Lieutenant General Abdel Fattah el-Burhan, has met Kenyan President William Ruto in Nairobi after initially rejecting the latter as the lead mediator on a war in the Northeast African nation. For more news, follow us on Facebook, 5FM Radio Zambia. On behalf of the entire news crew and the technical department, thank you for listening to the Happy World of 5FM. Stay safe and stay tuned to 5FM Radio. I'm Cecilia Tresha. Have a good afternoon.